You know, it's always a good day when I can make a recipe healthier and easier to make. Well, today is not that day, because unfortunately Chrusciki, angel wings, bow ties, whatever you call them, have to be deep fried, so we're just going to have to deal with it. But I only make them once a year at Christmas time. So I'll show you how I make them. I actually start with the oil. I start heating up the oil because it takes a while. And I use a deep fry thermometer. And we want a temperature of about 350, 360. So it really helps to use one of these. It's pretty hard to kind of figure it out. You want to make sure that the bottom of the thermometer is not touching the pan. Above the pan, it's going to be in the oil. And I'm using safflower oil. The two oils that are really good for this is canola and safflower. So I'm using 1 quart of safflower oil. And you put it into, I use one of my older pans for this because deep frying is hard on pots and pans. Yeah. Okay. So 1 quart of oil. And before I even start the recipe, I put this on and start warming it up just at like a medium heat, not too high, just because it takes a while, and that way it can get started and we can keep checking on it. Okay, so here's my recipe. We're going to start with 3 egg yolks into a bowl, and use a small bowl, and you can't really do this with a stand mixer because it's too small of a dough, you know. So a smaller bowl that's maybe taller with sides. 3 egg yolks, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and just a little pinch of salt, just like that. Okay, now with a hand mixer, we're going to beat this on high for just about 1 minute until it becomes nice and thick. You'll see. Watch this. Down so you can hear me. After about a minute, it's going to become thick like this and kind of, they say lemon colored, but it's really just like a paler color, and it's nice and thick like that. So now we're going to continue, and we're going to add 2 tablespoons of sour cream. I like to use reduced fat sour cream, so that's what I'm using, but you can use regular. Okay, 2 tablespoons of sour cream, a ½ teaspoon of vanilla, and that's the flavoring comes from vanilla and from lemon and orange zest. Now traditionally, a lot of them just use lemon zest, but I love the combination of lemon and orange, and you have to use fresh. It makes all the difference. This is where most of the flavor comes from. So I would say it's about maybe I zest like a half of a lemon and about half of an orange. So I think it comes to maybe like a ½ teaspoon of each. It's hard to measure zest because it's kind of loose like that, but it's easy to do if you just figure like half of a lemon, of a good sized lemon, and that's about how long that takes. And then half of an orange. All right, I'm almost done with the orange, and when you zest lemon and orange, just take barely the peel. Don't take too much of the white because then it could be a little bit bitter. So that's about half of an orange, and we're going to put that into the mix. It smells amazing. You're going to love this recipe. It's actually pretty simple. This is pretty much it except for the flour. So, okay. Now we add those things which were the zest and the vanilla and the sour cream, and now 3/4 cup of flour, and we mix it on low speed, no more high speed, just a nice low speed to get it incorporated. And at this point, you need just enough flour to make it sort of kneadable, K-N-E-A-D, so maybe like, I don't know, a tablespoon more of flour. You have to judge, depending how you measure your flour and how big the eggs are. It depends on a lot. But just enough to make it sort of a solid dough. Maybe just a little bit more. Let's see. So I would say maybe, in my case, 1 to 2 tablespoons of additional flour. Yeah. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, there it is right there. Well, is it going to fall before I put the flour down? Maybe not. Okay. Flour your board. Okay, flour the board, and then you put the dough on a floured board. Okay, here we go. There's no easy way to do it. What I do is I just kind of pull it off like that. There's no easy way, but it's definitely going to be a sticky dough no matter what. All right, a little bit more flour to make it not quite so sticky. And we need it like 50 turns. So 1, 2, 3. Look how small this dough is. There's not much to it, but oh, you'll see, this is going to make like 40 Chrusciki, this little bit of dough. 47, 48, 49, 50. There it is. There's my beautiful little dough. You got to spank that dough. All right, now we're going to cut the dough in half, like this. And you're going to wrap half of it in plastic while you work with the other half. So a little bit of plastic wrap. And just wrap it up and set it aside while we roll the dough. All right. Now, you need a fairly well-floured board because you don't want this dough to stick when you start to cut the cookies. So make sure it's well-floured. Okay. Check on the oil. Let me just check on the oil here. 1 second. Yeah, it's nice, coming up nice and slowly. All right. So you just kind of get it started, if you want, with your hand. And I can use my brand new rolling pin. I got this at Pier 1. Okay. All right, you can turn it over a little bit, and now we're going to start to roll. Now, this process is going to take some time because you have to roll this paper thin. So it takes me about 2 minutes to roll it. So I'm just going to keep rolling and keep rolling. And as I get a little farther, I'll show you how big this has to be and why we had to cut the dough in half, because you could never get it on. Even this board, I got this board at a restaurant supply. And this board, it has to be this big almost, your working surface, to make the dough thin enough and big enough. So this takes a couple minutes, and just keep rolling and rolling, and then just keep flouring. You can turn it, whatever it takes to get it nice and thin and not stuck to the board. Okay, so it's been about a minute or so, and I want to make sure it's not sticking, so I'm going to lift it up, put a little more flour down, and put it down floured side down, and roll some more. Not thin enough. This is not thin enough yet. The thinner you can roll this, the crispier and nicer the Chrusciki are going to be. And so I go by at least a 12-inch, I got a ruler here, at least 12-inch. So see, there's like a little over 12, but of course this way it's close to 12. So that's actually pretty good. If you can get it that thin, and be patient, take your time, and get it nice and thin. Before you start cutting, just make sure it's not sticking, because you'll see when you start to cut these, shape them, you don't want it sticking. I'm going to give it one more little roll. And the shape does not matter. You can make it oblong, more oval, doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, that's it. All right, now, this is the fun part. This is the part I used to do with my mother. She would slice them up, and I would make the bow ties. My sister and I would make the bow ties. So you take just a little tiny knife, and you just cut it into, I think, about 1.25 inches or so, just kind of strips like this. Doesn't matter what direction. You can go a long way, you can go this way. This is how easy it is. Make them a little narrower, a little wider, it doesn't matter. Okay? Now, you take the long strips and you cut them into shorter strips. And in this case, a little pointy end is nice, but of course these are going to be straight. But you can cut them like this. You can cut them straight if you want. Doesn't really matter. And if you, sometimes though, we used to have fun, she would give us one really long one. So we cut a short one here. When you have a really long one, you can make double. Well, I'll show you in a second. I'll show you in a second. There's no rule to the length of this, but maybe what, 3, 4, 5 inches. So that's the first step. The second step is you make a little slit in each one of these, and we're going to start to twist them. That's it. So a little slit, maybe inch, 1.5 inch slit, like that. Just takes seconds, see? Just like that. And what I was going to show you is when you have a long one, like this one, you can do a double. This was fun for us. Do a double. Okay? That's it. All right. Now I'm going to show you how to make the actual bow ties. Let me check on my oil. It's doing great. All right. So here's how you make them. You take one of these. There's the little slit. You just put it through. Pull it out the bottom, and just kind of, you can shake it like that, and that's it. Here's another one. You open up the slit, put the one end through, pull it out. If you just pull it, you're going to get like that. You have to kind of just push it through, or you can shake it like that. Okay, here's the one with the square ends. That doesn't matter. Pull it through and just kind of, and let me show you the double. Oh, my sister and I used to love this. Here's the double. There's one side, then you do the other side, like that, and pull it through. And even the end pieces, these are all going to come out beautifully. Look at the end one, same thing. Put it through the little slit, and that's it. That's how you make it. So I'll keep making these, and then you basically roll the other half of the dough exactly like that, as thin as you can make it, and you shape all these cookies, and then we're going to deep fry them. So stay with me and I'll be right back. So now we do exactly the same thing with the other half of the dough, but we have to get these out of the way. So I'm just going to put them on just a baking sheet. It doesn't have to be floured, they're not going to stick or anything. So we just have to put them aside somewhere while we do the other sheet. Okay, so I made all the little bow ties, and I actually took the ones off the sheet and I put them all here because we're going to start frying, and we need to use this sheet, but you line it with, because they have to be drained on paper towels when you deep fry anything. So I line this like with double paper towels, get it right next to the burner, and we're going to start making them. Now, I don't always trust just the little reader, so you got to test the oil. Use your gut. If it feels like it's too hot, these should cook in maybe like 30 seconds, 15 seconds per side. If they're cooking faster, the oil's too hot. So I'm going to test it with this little guy here, okay? And I'm going to use 2 forks. I'll show you. Put it in. It's actually doing really well. It's puffing up. Look at that, how it puffs up. These are so beautiful. So after maybe 15 seconds, we turn it over. That's nice. I use 2 forks. I find the 2 forks a lot easier to handle. You can use some kind of a ladle or something, but no plastic. It's got to be metal. So that's it. You fry them and you drain them on the paper towel. That's it. Okay, let's make some more. All right, in a pan this size, I wouldn't do more than 3 at a time. So we put them in like 1, 2, and 3. Look at that. They just puff up so beautifully. And when you make them really thin like that, that's how they're going to do. They're going to puff up, and you got to just stand right by because it doesn't take long. You can see it's turning a little bit gold already. So what's it, 10 seconds, 15 seconds? You can't control the shape they're going to take. But that's it. I'm going to turn the oil down just a touch. I don't know, you just don't just trust the thermometer. Go by your gut. If this is how quickly they cook, then that's just about right. And you drain them. Okay, let's make some more. Okay, oh, let's make my double one. Here's the double. We'll do a double, and a little one, and another little one. Okay. Okay, doesn't take long. Look at that. You want them to be golden, but not too brown. So just have to keep looking how they're coming out, and adjust your burner accordingly, because this one here to me is a little too brown. It should just be golden. Okay, keep draining on paper towels. We'll do 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. Now you can see I'm running out of space, so I'm going to squeeze this one in here, squeeze this in here, and this one over here. And now I'm going to put some more paper towels on, and I just keep layering on top of here and keep draining on the same pan. Okay? So keep going. I'll just keep cooking these, and when we're done, I'll show you what happens next. All right, so that's it. We're going to turn off the oil, get it out of the way to a nice safe spot, let it cool down. And now I'm going to clear my table, and we're going to just lay all these out and put the powdered sugar on, and then you'll see these Chrusciki and how awesome they are. So I'll just take a second to clean up. So it's time to put the powdered sugar on these Chrusciki, and they have to all get some powdered sugar, so you have to lay them out on something, whether it's a towel. I'm using 2 sheets, but they're all laid out. And look how beautiful. There's probably about 40 here. All right, so about a half a cup of powdered sugar in a sifter or a strainer, whatever. And we're gonna just start sifting these. Oh, this is so beautiful. Look, watch. How awesome is that? Look. Oh my God, these will absolutely melt in your mouth, I'm telling you. All right, and then over to the other. They really need a nice coating because remember, there's only 2 tablespoons of sugar in the recipe, so a lot of the sweetness is going to come from this powdered sugar. So, all right. Okay, I think that's it. That took about a half a cup of powdered sugar. Now, as far as storing these, I like to store them in a container, but not really, really tightly sealed, like with plastic, because they need a little air, they'll get soggy. So I actually use, this is like a pie storage container. I got it at the Container Store. And what I like is they fit in here, and then the lid just sits down, but it's not super, super airtight. So this is really good. But they can still lose their crispiness. And you can re-crisp them later that day or the next day in a 325 oven, just on a sheet like this, in a 325 oven for like 5 minutes, and then let them cool and they'll be nice and crisp. Now, here's my 3 rules for Chrusciki. 1, don't ever mail them to anybody because they will not survive. They will all break. 2, don't ever wear black when you're eating these because they are going to be messy. And 3, don't ever try to eat them all in one day because that would be wrong. It can be done, I know, but it would be a mistake. But they are really, really good. Oh my God. Oh. You know what I mean? But don't wear black. You don't want to go away. You never saw me. Go away. Oh. Dzień dobry. Dzisiaj pokażę jak zrobić golombki. Today I'm going to show you how to make cabbage rolls. And by the way, I'm Polish and I grew up helping my dad make cabbage rolls, although I think my version may be a little healthier. I make these beautiful cookies every Christmas. They have a lot of different names, pecan balls, snowballs, Mexican wedding cookies. Everybody loves them, they melt in your mouth. And right now you're probably saying, well, I could never make anything this fancy. Really? Really? Can you dump stuff into a bowl? Because that's all it takes. Let me show you.